first, thanks for coming. These fam tours are always just an awesome opportunity to bring the locals here in Orlando, plus our family, our locals in San Antonio, out to Florida and show what we have. But I want to backtrack a little bit. You know, SeaWorld parks have been around for 50 years, and for 50 years, one of our goals has been to celebrate, connect with, and care for the natural world that we share. Back in 1964, we opened SeaWorld in San Diego. One of the first opportunities for people to celebrate and look at animals and learn about how we care for our animals. Of course, that brand has expanded over the years, including a park here in Orlando, and then the one that we think is the best in San Antonio. It was started in 1988. And you know, our guests came out and this idea of presenting animals in shows and educational experiences really took off. People really liked that. And so we said, hey, how can we expand upon this? How can we expand upon this and give people more? We can allow people to connect with these animals. And going off that connect goal, several years ago we created Discovery Cove here in Orlando, and that was an opportunity for people to actually dive in the water. You know, for several years people saw trainers and animal care specialists interacting, swimming with the animals, and they said, hey, I want to do that. So we created Discovery Cove in order for people to do that. And it's met very well, where people can get in the water with stingrays and dolphins and sea otters and marmosets and be in the water with them. The other thing is to celebrate. We want people just to celebrate the natural world. And we're all about fun. We're about SeaWorld and having fun. And one of the ways we thought, you know what, let's just have fun with the ocean. The ocean's a great place to go out and have fun. So we created a park called Aquatica here in Orlando several years ago. It's where the sea meets fun, meets animals. And you might be saying that there's water parks all over the nation, and that is true, and some of them are great. But the distinguishing fact about our Aquatica, our water park, is we've got rides, we've got slides, we've got beaches, so do those other places. But what we have is animals. Again, you can go to Aquatica and celebrate, connect with and see how we care for these animals here. So Aquatica San Antonio opened last year. It was a great success. They have everything there, from the serene, we've got white sandy beaches, 42,000 square feet of white sandy beaches. If you want to just go there, sit out on the beach, get your tan on, you can certainly do that. It's kind of a tropical oasis, and so that's the serene aspect of Aquatica. But we also have the extreme. We've got water rides. In fact, we have one ride, Walhalla Wave. It's a zero gravity ride. It takes you up this wall, and you just feel like you're weightless for a couple of seconds right there. And in fact, for 2 years in a row, Extreme Water Parks, a television show, rated us in the top 10, rated Walhalla Wave, that is, in the top 10 water rides in the world. So we're excited to have that down at SeaWorld in Aquatica in San Antonio. But you know, we always want to listen to our guests, and we always want to add more to it. And again, the distinguishing factor about Aquatica is that we have animals. At Aquatica San Antonio, our signature ride is Stingray Falls, where you and 4 other folks can get into a ride, raft, go through some chutes, empty out into an underwater grotto where you come face to face with stingrays, and that's just one of 3 ways that you can interact with these animals. You can actually go to K-Ray side of the pool, you can reach out, you can touch them, you can feed them, or you could be a part of our Stingray Interaction program, where you get in the water, you wade with these animals, they come around you. It's absolutely fantastic opportunity to connect with these animals. But we decided we want people to be able to connect with the animals even more. So coming in 2014, we're opening a brand new aviary. Brian's going to talk to you a little bit more about the aviary and the whole creative process. This aviary is going to be a part of our serene environment, where people can actually float through a lazy river that goes into this aviary and see hundreds of birds. I think it's 600 different birds, 50 different species, and several of these species are threatened, endangered, or vulnerable. Again, part of our commitment to conservation and educating people about these animals. The exhibit will have educators on staff to teach people about these beautiful birds. You'll have the opportunity to get to get food to feed to these birds. It's really an immersive experience to celebrate with these animals here. So Avery's coming. He'll be here before you know it. We want you guys to come out and see it, and that's why we brought you here. There's a similar aviary. Brian's going to talk about that process.
All right. So, hi everybody. My name is Brian Morrow. I'm creative director for SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, and Chucky's such great examples and great stories about what the Aquatica brand is. And we opened the Aquatica in Texas just last year, and it's had a huge success for us, and expansion and reinvestment into our parks, particularly in our regional parks like Texas, is a big deal for us and very important. So when they came back and said, you know what, it's time to grow this. There's a huge demand for this water park in Texas, in a state with a lot of water parks. But because we build such unique and one-of-a-kind experiences, the guests keep coming. And it's really a unique place for families to bond, relax, and chill, and have great extreme rides, but really have that nice, relaxing bonding time, like the day on the beach, if you will, which is like the perfect day at the beach is what Aquatica really is. And so we studied what our company does the best. And here at Discovery Cove, this is world-renowned, one-of-a-kind, trying to duplicate it, no one's even got anywhere close to it. And so one of the best attractions here at this park is our aviary. It's a wonderful experience. You can explore it on your own. You can do it all with all families. Everybody has access to it, and it's highly interactive, which is a key attribute of what SeaWorld Parks Entertainment brings to our guests. So we took what we learned here and our way that we care and raise and train our animals, particularly birds, and taking all that information and knowledge of this world-class, best-in-class experience here in Orlando and transporting that experience into San Antonio, Texas is a really big deal. And it's going to take Aquatica, Texas to the next level, further separating it from anything else you can do in the state of Texas into its own world-class experience. So guests, so what does this new attraction have in it? Well, you'll hear us say aviary, but really think about it as another beach. It's a complete another bay inside of Aquatica, Texas, that's going to have a big sand beach. It's going to have a zero entry pool. It's going to have some of my favorite things, which you'll see today, which are the submerged seating areas and submerged concrete seats where everybody can feel like they're at the 5-star resort, which is what you want to do for vacation. And not only all that, it's all built around a beautiful aviary. So while you're inside, lush landscape, hundreds and hundreds of birds, endangered and vulnerable birds, so you can learn about how you can help those animals in the wild as well. And it's just not looking at birds, most importantly, it's connecting with birds. And that may sound kind of strange, but once you go in there, and you guys are going to have a chance to do it today, and that bird comes to you on his own and wants to explore you, and often they don't even do it because they want to eat. They will sit, they will perch, and you will get to see, touch, and listen and communicate with nature in a way that you cannot do anywhere else on this planet. And that's really what the new expansion for SeaWorld Texas is really going to be about. Aquatica, Texas is really going to go to the next level. All new, super intense animal interaction experiences, zero entry beach, lots of big sand. It's really taking Aquatica, Texas to that 5-star, world-class, destination that it is.
What kind of bird? Like, do you have an example of any birds, like a toucan or something? Something exotic or parrot?
Well, I'll tell you my favorite bird that will be there, which are the Cureaus. And so you're going to meet those today. They're these birds. They're like about, watch me describe. It's about this big, but they're really personable, and they're actually meat eaters. And we don't allow a lot of the guests to serve the worms. Some of the guests get to do it, but often the Cureaus will just come to you and interact with you because they want to. And they'll come and perch on you, and they'll sit on your shoulder, and they'll nuzzle behind your neck. And it's these really amazing experiences that are some of my favorite in any of our parks.
Did you say meat eaters?
Yes. So some of the birds are carnivores, just like us.
Yes.
And some of the birds are vegetable eaters, and some do both. So you have the chance to feed both. And by carnivores, most eat worms, but they're live worms, and you get to feed those to the birds as well.
How are you able to find some of these unique birds?
Well, we've been caring and raising and learning about animals longer than most people in the world, and we know more than most know, and we have a lot of animals in our care. So we've been raising and breeding birds for Aquatica, Texas now for over a year, unbeknownst to most people. So those birds are being raised here at Discovery Cove, over at our SeaWorld Park, at SeaWorld Texas Park, and at Aquatica, Texas. So it's already been happening so that when we open, we have those birds here. We do not bring the birds in from the wild. These are birds that are raised in our care through our populations that we currently have.
Did you say how big Discovery Cove is here?
How many acres is it?
Yes.
It's 16 acres long.
16 acres. So that's equivalent to just a whole lot of land.
It's a whole lot of land.
Yeah.
And so we're not building the whole of Discovery Cove in
Right,
Texas, not today, but we are building a part of it, really the heart of it, which is this aviary, which is this multi-tiered, multifaceted, multi-layered experience that you can swim through, you can walk through, you can sit inside of, and you can totally chill out inside this space and kind of commune with nature in a way that you haven't done before.
I want to backtrack on it. You said that some are were endangered or almost to be extinct. What are some of the ones that you can name right now that you can?
I'm going to let you talk to the animal care folks when we go into our aviary so you get all the right information, because it's very particular, and agriculturist and the care of birds is a very specialized process, and they know a lot more than I could even pretend to share with you.
So how successful has this been since you guys built that aviary here in Orlando?
It was really what sometimes we call things the sleeper project, the big surprise. When we built Discovery Cove, it was really the focus of swimming and getting in the water with dolphins. And then there was all these other experiences you can have within the Discovery Cove day. And the aviary was one of those. After the first year that we opened, we expanded it by double. And then we did it one more time, put another aviary on the site, because it's such a big demand, and the guests just really enjoy the fact that they can walk through, they can wade through, they can swim through. And one of my favorite moments in the aviaries that you're going to have is floating through on the lazy river, and the birds actually coming down, and they're swimming in the same water, and they're bathing themselves, because there's water birds there that like to be in the water. And you might see that today, depends on the time of day that we get in there, but it's a really amazing experience that, again, you'll never see that anywhere else on the planet, but actually right here at Discovery Cove.
Would you say that's the key to the Discovery Cove's success, is just the scenery and the uniqueness of some of these birds?
Discovery Cove's success is built on many models. One is the day is amazing. It's an all-inclusive day. It's very unique, very special. The aviary is a component of that day. The dolphin swim is another. The Grand Reef is a big part of that. Snorkeling with like 22,000 fish. That's amazing. And then there's other water activities as well. So, and then there's sleeping, which is a big deal while you're on vacation to get some sleep, right? So Discovery Cove is highly successful because of all the things it includes. The aviary is one of the top experiences here at the park.
You mentioned there being demand for expansion in San Antonio. Was that just from guests or the number of people that y'all see at Aquatica, or how did you?
It's a demand. There's a lot of water parks in Texas, and before we built Aquatica, Texas, I spent a lot of time riding water slides with some of the folks you see here, evaluating the in-market water parks that existed. And we had our own. It was called Lost Lagoon there. And so we really wanted to make sure that we were building the right thing. And we did a lot of research and study, and we kind of hit it right out of the park. It was a huge success for us. And we second gated the park, and it was included, and now it's the second gate, and it's been extremely successful. And it's because of what SeaWorld does best. It's a really perfect product mix. We aim to have something for everybody to do, and in Texas in particular, it's different than the other Aquaticas. Each Aquatica is a little bit different. They're the same brand, but they have different product mixes. Texas has the biggest amount of beach and lay down space and what we call flat water, places you can sit and get out of the heat, and really have like that beach day. And so that's what Texas was really, really important, and California is different, and Orlando is different than that.
We get a lot of visitors from Houston, Austin, Dallas, and of course San Antonians love staycations. So what do you have to say to folks who want to make that trip to San Antonio?
Yeah, this is the best solution for a staycation. Forget driving down to the coast. You've got it right here in Texas, in San Antonio. So now you can have this great SeaWorld day, you can have this great SeaWorld Aquatica Texas day, and you can have these two parks right next to each other with resorts all around the park property, and have this beautiful staycation up in the hill country, and you can get into the city if you want to. It's really a destination within Texas. I really think that the property in San Antonio between SeaWorld and Aquatica is really the crown jewel of Texas for tourism. It is the place to go. It is the place to bring your families and kids, and there's something for everybody to do, and most importantly, making a really special personal connection to nature that you really can't do anywhere else.
Just one more question. And so, what do you want guests to say as they're leaving the aviary for the first time?
Well, they'll say it when they go in the aviary for the first time. What will happen is that most guests will go and say, oh, an aviary, because they haven't been in a really well-designed one before. And so the minute that they walk in, and one with birds that are being trained by the expertise of SeaWorld, trainers and agriculturists and animal care specialists. So the minute you walk in, you're going to realize it's going to take about 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute, but as soon as you stand still, and you become another perching location, the animals will come to you. And so you're no longer going to an animal, and that's a big difference here. Usually looking at animals and habitats and shows or anything, you're kind of stationary, you're kind of trying to find the animal. The animals will actually come to you here in these aviaries. So that's really it's really quite a shocking experience to have that boundary between you and the animal be zero, because there is none. You're actually in their world visiting for a time being, and they'll come to you to interact.